I am 48 hours, 44 minutes, and 44 seconds into Final Fantasy Rebirth. And my initial reaction after my 10-hour video, where I was ecstatic, is just to say that that loaded fast. This game is the equivalent of having someone offer you $100 and standing in a line of people also offering $100. And they look at you and they're like, we will give you this $100 each person. All you have to do is let us kick you in the nuts. So then you're kind of excited, you know, because you want $100. You don't have anything. So you let the first person kick you in the nuts, and then they hand you the $100, and that was the deal. And you're like, okay, well, I was hoping to get some overworld of this. So they give you $100 and you're kicked in the nuts, and that was the deal. So you're kind of happy. You're like, okay, whatever. You know what hurts? You go to the next person. They give you $100. They kick you in the nuts. You go to the next person. They give you $100. They kick you in the nuts. You're thinking, well, it's starting to go into my stomach, but I have $300. That's pretty cool because you had nothing. Now you have 300, and you're like, you know what? This was a good experience. And then you get to like the 100th person in line, and you're still going. And this 100th person is like, hey, do you want this $100 to get kicked in the nuts? Now you're thinking, this is not as good of a deal as it was when I first started, because to be quite frank, you know, when I had nothing, $100 was a lot. When I had $100, $200 seemed like a lot, because that's 100% gain. And now that you have way more, it seems like way less to receive $100. So you're like, is it worth getting kicked in the nuts if I already have this much? You know? So that sums up how I feel about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was awesome at first, but just the tediousness of going through the motions. You basically walk around climbing towers everywhere, and that is the game. You walk all the way across the map, fight a bad guy, click a button. And after you click that button, you go click another button. And then you go click another button. And that's the game. The original Final Fantasy had an awesome story. And it's here, but it's just buried. It's like a diamond that's buried beneath so much crap. It's like just a really, really expensive, awesome diamond that's buried under 10 foot of horse maneuver. And that feels pretty accurate to what we're dealing with here. Like, I can't get to the story. As soon as you get through one area, the next area is the same thing over and over again. It is tedious and annoying. It really is. I mean, I was ecstatic at 10 hours of playing this game. This is it. 3 limits, look. And the game's still awesome at the same time. I'm just venting my frustrations because it is frustrating. It's just to go through all of this. I don't know. The story's buried. Final Fantasy VII is such a good story. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. Just tell the story. I think the original game was like, I don't know. I saw someone say it was like 15 hours. I don't know what it is now. Something insane.
Duty calls.
Yeah. That's the bad. That's the frustration. The good side is, you know, you're getting that $100. Remember I said, you know, it's like getting paid $100 to get kicked in the nuts. That may be true, but you're still getting $100. That's awesome. If you're willing to let 100,000 people kick you in the nuts, you're rich. And in that way, awesome game. It's just, I don't know. When they do finally get to the story, it is nice. The battles are pretty predictable. It's, you fight the enemies, you break down their gauge so that they fall down, and then after that you unleash all your power on them, which is something. Yeah. I don't know. I will play the crap out of this game. I'm not playing any other game at the same time. After saying all that, I'm not playing any other game till this is finished. But I just want the people who made it to know, I understand that you're kicking me in the nuts. You're giving me $100. You're kicking me in the nuts. And I can feel that. I can feel that. Okay. Bye. I'm just kidding. What else is good? So, Queen's Blood? I actually really enjoy Queen's Blood. I think Queen's Blood does everything it needs to do. There's a side quest story with Queen's Blood that is just as stupid as anything else in the game. Too much anime, right? Final Fantasy VII is not anime. And they tried to make it anime. That's one thing I noticed, is there's just stuff that doesn't work in this world. Like, there's a guy on a motorcycle that weighs like 3,000 pounds, and he's just bunny hopping it. And he's not even just bunny hopping it anywhere, he bunny hops the president. Like any nation's president would be in the real world. Like, he's just a soldier who rides a bike, and to celebrate doing a good job, he does a little hop, and the whole 3,000, 4,000 pound bike, it's like a Harley. It just turns. It jumps into the air. Don't hit me. Alright. I don't know, it's just stupid. Alright. Just so dumb, you know? That he can do that. So this Queen's Blood story is like I don't know what's going on with it, but they're like, you're passing out. When I played Queen's Blood, I actually like do stuff. I don't know. It's dumb. There's a story where the cards have power. It's like, dude, it is a hell of a thing to just roam the world playing cards and becoming the best card player ever. I don't need to do all this stuff where I'm like passing out. Don't do it. Yeah, the Queen's Blood, it's way overdone for what it needs to be. Just let me click square on someone and attack them. You know, we don't need any bells and whistles. We don't need anything special. Just make some characters able to play the card game and have a default set of how much card playing you need. Like, every single person you go to play this card game has their own story and they talk forever, and I have skipped everyone. I've skipped everyone. It's nonsense. But I like the game. That's just nitpicking on my part, because I think it's awesome. I like Queen's Blood. I don't think they understood. I think the people at Square spent all this time making a video game. And they made the original video game. It took them 5 years, and then they had another 5 years to make this game. And they just sat there and worked on it for 5 years, already having the game made, part 1, the remake, and all they had to do was just follow up, make the sequel. And I think they really tried to take advantage of those years and make something, and just put in the work, and put in the time and the effort. And in ways it shows, and it's amazing, but in a lot of ways, it's just a pile of horse manure filler getting in the way of the story. You could cut 2 years of development in placing bullcrap in the way. Take Queen's Blood, make 10 different levels of difficulty of players, and give the computer different cards. And then randomly, at certain parts of the game, if you hit square on that player, or if you hit a certain button, just like they did in Final Fantasy VIII, you can ask someone, instead of trying to talk to them, do you want to play cards? And if it's a random NPC that plays cards, it will activate, and then one of those 10, 20, 30 different play styles you've given the NPCs, you can do it at random, will activate a different kind, and then you can have a little story there where you're the best in the world. But they went in there, and every single card player in the whole world has their own background story and convoluted plot, and they talk for a minute before they let you play them, and they talk a minute after you beat them. And I hit skip as fast as I can. Love the card game though. It's just like, dude, I can't get to the main story. It's so buried. It is so hard to play through this game. It is so buried. I'd say that's it. It's an incredible 10 out of 10 game that's buried in horse manure. It's $100, but you gotta get kicked in the nuts. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 game. I give it a 7 out of 10, and it is my dream childhood game. All right, bye for real.